Okay, hello and welcome to the GGRC Super Formula Endurance Race. It is December the 18th, Friday. We're ending out the year with a special event. My name is GimpBoy86, I'm on commentary. I will be joined by our race director for this race, which is Cameron75. Say hello, Kaz. Our safety car for the day will be a Blue Phoenix, who won't be on comms, and also in an interesting turn of events we will have one of the racers chiming in whenever he has insight into the race that's currently going on, and that will be Pim 2407.
Hello everyone, that will be me.
So it looks like we're going to have a very interesting race today. We've got Super Formula Endurance, so it's going to be, is it 66 laps, roughly 90 minutes of racing?
Indeed it is. 66 laps around the fictional track of Sardinia. Layout is A2.
And this is a team versus team event, I believe.
Indeed it is. It's 2 teams of 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's 2 teams of 6. We have the Pro Pim Pretzer movement, which you are the team captain of, I believe, Pim.
Indeed I am. I did not come up for that name, but my teammates.
And you will be battling it out today with the SRV Raffing Point, helmed, of course, by Raff PG7, who has previously joined us in the commentary box. Unfortunately, M&S with the poor internet.
Now, qualification has started.
Cameron, quali has started.
How long
okay.
are each of these sessions, and how many sessions of quali will we have?
5 minutes.
Yes, 3 quali elimination system. Well, the top 8 drivers qualify for the second round, and the top 5 of the second round qualify for the third round, and I believe, is it the top 5 are going to be starting the race on the compound they qualify in?
Indeed it is. The tyres you make it on in Q2, so if you manage to place for the final round, that's the compound you'll start on. It's not the compound you've used in the final round of qualifying, but the compound you used in the second round of qualifying, and you made it through into the final one. It's like the F1 system, if we have any viewers who do watch F1. So yeah, that should be interesting.
Lilium,
Who do we think will drop in the first round?
Right, so that's a tough question to ask, because we have 2 of the GGRC amateurs of the amateur class in the race, which are Nick Ellis and Leo K. However, Nick has more experience with Formula 1 cars than he does with the road cars, so he could potentially surprise everyone and get himself further up the grid. I haven't been able to participate or spectate anyone's practices throughout the last couple of weeks, so I don't have an insight as to who's likely to perform well. We do have Jappy. I don't think he's not on track at the moment, I don't think. Oh yes he is, he's in 9th, yeah. Jabal is, he's part of the ORI racing team, and this season, which is currently going on at the moment, of GGRC season 13, we've taken a break over Christmas. This is his first season racing with us, and this will be his first special event racing with the GGRC. So he's kind of an unknown quantity as far as what he's likely to pull off in this race. As for the rest of the group, we've got so Pim 2407. You are obviously one of the most highly decorated racers in the grid. Very experienced, very fast. How is your experience with Super Formula compared to like our traditional slower Group 3, Group 4 and road cars?
These cars are really a notch up from those cars, and the gaps will start to increase the harder the cars are to drive, and these cars may not be particularly hard to drive, but you need to have the quick reflexes and good reaction times to be able to get the most out of these in the racing lines and stuff. So usually the people who are really good with reacting to things will excel in these cars. But there is going to be a big group of people who will struggle to die, I think.
As for sorry, go on.
Sorry. I think my work here is done. We don't need to push that hard in the first section of quali.
Yep.
I fear that the drivers Nicholas, Leo K, Jabal, Zankyu, those will be the ones,
Leo K has spun out.
Oh god. Yeah, I think they will have to really push it here, not to drop out already.
It'll be interesting looking through the grid. We've got RAF PG7. He is also a very fast competitor. Arakan has currently sat on FL at the moment as in the first stage of quali. He's also very fast, arguably not as fast as RAF and Pim. Patrick, he is a very fast driver, although he tends to have issues with his internet, much like MLS. So if they can last if their internet can last the entire race, that will be an achievement in itself. But MLS, yeah, and Ender we've got currently in 5th. He is one of our mid drivers. He can be fast, he can sometimes be slow. So oh, did he?
Well, he didn't race in season 5, Cameron. No, he didn't race. No, don't listen to Cameron.
As we move down the grid, we've got Capolero GT in 6th for quali round 1 so far. Capolero, he's kind of had a bit of an off season these last few months. He is quite a fast driver usually, but he has been struggling. Right, quali 1 is over. Stage 1 of quali is over. Just pass through the rest of the grid quickly. MLS. As I said, MLS is really fast, but also has the issues with his internet, so that may hinder him. Jabal, we've discussed. Devil's Hound. Devil's Hound doesn't really have the experience for Super Formula, I don't think. He's currently racing as a pro in season 13 of GGRC.
Devil's Hound should be interesting. He didn't join us in season 5 in the Super Formula, and I haven't seen him drive the car much, so he might be very good, or be struggling a little too.
And then we've got Zenq. Zenq, he's currently looking like he's the fastest of the AM class. I suppose he is an AM. I don't know. I don't have much information on Zenq, other than he was in the 787B endurance, and he had a string of bad luck and spin outs, and he ended up leaving the game early. So I guess we're just looking to see if he's actually going to finish the race this time. So it looks as if the bottom 5 will be eliminated. So that'll be Leo K, Nicholas, Zenq, Devil's Hound, and Jabal.
So just another thing for the viewers who haven't noticed yet. The 2 teams of 6, one being led by me and the other being led by Raf, both have different liveries. Every driver of the team is on the same livery. So my team will be driving the white and red car, whilst the other team will be driving the predominantly black and pink car.
Okay. No, Jabal will be staying in. Sorry, that's my mistake. Yeah, the liveries are very nice. I'm just trying to find a better view. Oh man.
Devil's Sound eliminated in the first round of quali. That's an interesting result. I wasn't expecting that. Leo K, Nick, and Zenkyu I did expect a little, but Devil's Sound.
So this is round 2 of quali is underway. As we're currently watching Pim here.
Yep, on the outlap right now. So try and take it slow. If the tires are rest, don't want to wear them out already. Oh, Patrick is leaving us a gap. That's quite nice of him. It's quite hard here to nail the corners, it's very tight. And on these sections here, it's quite easy to actually get some oversteer because it's over a crest. And the low speed means that the car has a lot less downforce. So getting on the throttle can be a bit risky, but you really need to push it hard around here if you want to get the lap times in. So it's high risk, high reward. Especially this turn here right now.
Yep.
Very easy to get into the barrier. And with the damage being on high, if you do hit the barrier, you'll have to pit and repair. That can cost you a lot of time.
So this event is inspired by Formula 1 regulations with the 3-tier quali system and the race length and the safety car. I'm hoping the safety car won't be called out. It's always fun to have the safety car there, and it's nice for them to have something to do, but yeah, the last thing you want is for the safety car to be called out.
Yeah, it can be very frustrating, especially when you're in the lead.
Yeah, I suppose if you've gained quite a substantial lead over the rest of the pack, the last thing you want is the safety car to come out to then allow everyone to group up again.
Yeah, it just undoes all of your hard work, but it happens. It's part of the racing with the special events, I guess.
I believe the safety car will be only called out under the if a driver suffers catastrophic engine damage, or it's a multiple vehicle collision. So yeah. I'm assuming that means no lone driver spinouts will result in a safety car.
It shouldn't, but maybe in some very severe instances.
So Cameron, as the one of the admins of the GGRC, could you tell us why Sardinia A2 was selected as the track for this event?
It isn't.
I suppose the sort of street stylings of track give you sort of a vibe of a Monaco or a Singapore. I'm just looking for my race notes here. I see flag rules are off, meaning that the cars are much less likely to ghost. Arakan's currently having some internet troubles by the looks of things. He's very ducking and diving left and right. It does look like there's a bit of lag there. On the subject of lag, if we go to the back to MLS, see if he's holding it together.
What are the gaps like? It's looking pretty close, I think.
It is looking very close. I mean, there's only is that 1.1 seconds between MLS in 8th and you in 1st. Oh, that's times, sorry. Yeah, 1.16.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to gain time here, but it's also extremely hard to link up one good lap. getting individual sector times over time is not that hard, but getting it all together for this one track is really one of the hardest tracks to do on, if I can say so.
So yeah, you currently have a 0.108 second lead over Arakan. Q2's finished.
Yep. Everyone's just finishing their final laps. The top 5 will remain.
So do you have the do you have a choice of compounds to race on over the course of this race, or is it all set to one compound?
So the drivers have a choice from racing softs to racing hards. Unlimited amount of sets of tires, so no limits. You can use the same compound the entire race. You're not forced to use 2 different compounds. So I actually think we'll see quite a lot of soft-only strategies, but there might be some mediums or some risky hard strategies in there. But we'll have to see. But yeah, it's the 3 compounds only.
Cool. The gap between 4th place Patrick and 5th Kepro for that quali stint is 3 1,000th of a second. It couldn't be any closer.
No. So the top 5 will be going through, right, Cameron? How far is number 6 from getting into that top 5?
0.02, 200ths of a second.
Yeah, it's looking really close.
It is incredibly close. Oh, MLS has actually moved up the grid to 7th now. He's taken 7th from Jabal, so yeah, MLS is really starting to get more comfortable with the car over the course of the qualifying. But obviously he's going to be out for stage 3 of the qualifier. So, and MLS and Jabal are now eliminated.
Still looking quite close for the 2 teams. I remember the previous TVT we had within GGRC was a bit of a one-sided battle, if I might say so, but this looking quite close so far.
Ah, yes, the TVT at
Nürburgring GP.
That's correct. Yes, where I believe it was you and Devil's Hound ended with the 1-2 finish.
Indeed.
Obviously, you pulled over to let Devil's Hound catch up as you had such a commanding lead.
Yeah, that was quite the lead, but that was really due to strategy.
Okay, I've now lost voice communications with race director Cameron, and he's left the party. And Raf looks like he's having issues getting on track. As well, we've only got 2 people on track at the moment. Pim is also having... no one can get on track because Cameron's the host.
No.
Yeah, Cameron's the host of this lobby. And if Cameron's internet's died, everyone's... Oh dear.
Ain't this fun, eh?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining. Oh no, not yet. I'm gonna go grab a glass of water. I'll be back.
Okie dokie. Okay. Now I've just got to wait for the prompts to let me know that the lobby is back up and running. Okay. So, interesting piece of trivia for you. Pim 2407, who is in the commentary box with me, he is my teammate for season 13, which is currently ongoing. We've taken a break over the Christmas period. We've done 4 stages so far, and we're awaiting to do the 5th stage, which will be in the new year, which will be at Goodwood. Our team was off to a commanding lead. We were the GGRC the best men. But as the season's progressed, the teams have become a lot more balanced in terms of points wise, and now it's kind of anyone's game. I've got comments filling up the stream, but I don't have access to the comments.
I'll go start reading some of those out. Let me just get my phone here.
Okay, we currently have 6 people watching, so to all 6 of you watching, hello and welcome. I hope none of those that are watching are the racers, hoping to stream snipe.
So, the comments. We have Kaito Anderson saying hello.
Hello to you.
We have Arids Gaming, GGRC member, saying hello, saying Cameron's audio is lower than it should be. Him casually taking PP for Q2 while speaking to the stream. Yes, very well. Cameron, oh my days. Arids, Akaz, your mic was too low, if you can fix that. I'll just tell him to scream harder. We have 6 viewers at the moment.
We do, and we welcome them all with open arms. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties, as I'm sure everyone can relate to.
A very kind comment from Pim the Unison. Pim is the best commentator ever, such a fan. Oh, thank you, Pim. So nice. Zeno is in the chat, saying hi.
Ah, welcome,
UK is
Zeno.
in the chat. Arican in the chat saying, come on, Kaz. Well, Arican, I'm not sure if your Wi-Fi was much better.
So, Zeno, of course, is he's a seasoned GGRC member. He has been racing under the amateur category. However, this season, season 13, and we're currently taking a holiday break for, he has really been on quite a dominant streak. As with our casual Tuesday Shuffle Series events, he's really come into his own and really starting to step up his game. And I'd be surprised if he finally gets the bump up to mid at some point soon.
The session's back up, Carl, so you can rejoin.
Okay, here we go. Hosted by Cameron again, so chances are we may disconnect again at some point.
Yeah, just 1 hour into the race, casually disconnect.
As you can see on the loading screen, our season 13 BMW E30 car.
Zeno saying, hello my boys in Dutch. Arican still with 660 milliseconds of ping. And Leo K, I'm a big fan of Pim, can I please have an autograph? Sure you can. You want some black and white pictures with that? And we just wait for quali to start again.
Yep. As you can see by the player list, the member list on the right hand side of your screen there, is a very diverse, far-flung European group of drivers. We've got from the UK, Arakan and Devil's Hound. And then we've got from Luxembourg, Leo K, Nicolas, RAF PG7. Spectating this race will be Lilium 55 from Portugal. Then we've got GGRC Ender from Germany. Zen Q Meister and Patrick are Poland. Keplero Italy, and Pim and Jabal from the Netherlands.
Most interesting fact is that most flags have 3 stripes. I'm really fascinated by this.
Made up of 3 stripes, or the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, or we have I don't know, Lilium. Lilium is not on track anyway, so don't worry about it. It's a bit of an outsider.
Right, so the call for the final qualification session drivers is up. I believe Pim, Arakan, Raf, Pat, and Kep. So are we going to spectate?
Yeah, time to push it off for 3 or 2 final laps.
I know you are my teammate for season 13, but I'll try to be as unbiased and objective as possible.
Yeah. I'm really unbiased as well, but I think this Pim guy is amazing. Patrick had a really fast lap. He told me about it in the team Discord chat. I haven't seen him do it in any session yet, so I'm still waiting for him to do that mega lap time and get in the top 3 of qualifying. I reckon he's also been quite quick. Rough PG7 and Kepler are a bit unknown to me, but I know from season 5 that Kepler is really quick as well in the Super Formula. Then again, as I have stated before, getting a good lap together on this track with these cars has been proven to be quite the challenge. So we'll see how everyone does. It's anyone's game, really.
The Pro Pim Pretzer movement are running the Honda Technotics. Sorry.
Just say Keithley.
Tektronix Keithley livery. Very nice livery. Was that designed by you, Pim?
No, that's Arakan's.
So just sit with Arakan here for a sec. Get on board with him. So your team is comprised of you as the team leader, and you've got Arakan, Patrick, ZenQ, GGRC Ender, and Leo K. So you've currently got 3 people in the final stage of quali. So that's a 3-person. I'll take it you're hoping for the 1, 2, 3 start for this race.
I'm hoping for it, but I imagine Raf will split us up.
Arakan's internet is slightly jarring. Let's hope it doesn't cause anyone any issues. So if we move over to the SRV Raffing Point team, the pink and blue.
My lap has been shocking, so I'll turn the audio for you guys down.
Yep, that's fine.
Do one lap concentrating.
Lillian filling the chat. It's obviously putting the drivers off at this time. So yeah, RAF, the SRV Raffing Point team is comprised of RAF PG7, who we're currently with now. He's the team leader. His teammates are as follows: Devil's Hound, Nick LS, Keplero, who is currently on track with him at the moment, right behind him, Jabal, and MLS. It's very balanced teams by the looks of things. Each team has a driver with known internet problems. So for Pim, he's got Arakan, who is currently having all sorts of internet connectivity issues, and Raf's team have MLS. MLS, the Frenchman, the Flying Frenchman. He also is suffering from, or tends to suffer from, internet connectivity issues. We're really hoping that doesn't factor into the race, but in the background you see Arakan sort of all over the track due to the lag spikes and the low ping or high ping. So Arakan is a long-serving member of the GGRC. He was at one time an admin, part-time admin. He is a very fast driver, and according to my race notes, he is destined to be second place for life. So he is very fast. Yeah, his connectivity is that does look like that could potentially cause some dangers when the race starts. I wonder if that's why he's currently sat at the back of quali. Okay, as quali comes to an end. Okay, Pim still with a very commanding lead. Well, hard to say very commanding. He's got the fastest lap again. He is ahead by like 19th, 100th of a second. So yeah, the gaps you can see are very small between the drivers. The gap between Patrick and Capro is half a second. This is very unlike Arakan. He's cursed. So how are we looking in the spectators box? Kaz, any comments in the stream? Any questions from the audience? Oh, okay.
Okay, that's quali over. Not the time I was looking for. And there we go.
What sort of times were you looking for? Are you not happy with first? Does it have to be a decimation of the rest of the grid?
Well, I was expecting... Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Nah, I had been pulling 28 2s and 1s, so being 4/10 of my own pace is always a bit annoying, but pull is pull. Should be fine. 1, 2, 3 lockout for the Pro Team Pretza movement. Good result.
Okay, GGRC is saying GGRC Ender is saying we're inaudible on stream. Oh, Kaz.
Yeah,
Kaz
Cameron. The comments are saying, and the drivers in the session are saying it as well, that Cameron is not audible. But guys, really, if you could hear Cameron, could you understand the words he's saying? He isn't care what he's talking about, and we never do.
So there's questions being asked. Arakan pitted during quali. Is that
legal?
I don't know. Leaving track or pitting during 3 qualies is not allowed, according to Devil Sounds.
Did he leave the track?
It's prohibited in the rule book. He must have pitted.
What happened to Arakan? That's interesting.
I didn't catch it.
What kind of penalty would that be?
What does that result in? Is that a grid penalty? Does that put him at the back of the 5 drivers? Arakan took damage because Lillian was filling the chat which he found distracting.
Arakan is obviously annoyed.
Get good coming from Nick LS. There's a
Where is Nick on the grid?
That's fighting words from a very weak amateur.
Words from the back of the grid.
Nick LS leading from the back. So yeah, we're discussing now. Arakan didn't change his tyres or refuel. He just went into the pits to take a break from Lilium filling the chat during the quali stage.
His car got damage.
Oh, he took damage. Yes.
Damage.
Yes, Kaz, as race director, it's your decision.
Apparently he didn't. I'm not sure what the rules stated, but being unable to repair the damage in quali seems a bit wrong. I get the whole not switching compounds. refueling also would be an advantage.
So race director Kaz has deemed no penalty for Arakan.
Let's see the public outrage that Nicholas will cause.
Rulebook says prohibited. Nicholas is not happy with the decision.
No, he's not. I'm not sure if Nick is expecting to gain a position here.
Okay.
Eric was P3.
He was P3 until he come out of the pits, and then he was P5 because he was just coasting around, I think. Currently with Leo K at the moment, as he's using this opportunity to get in as much practice as possible. Right, according to Devil's Hound, everyone had the message. Jap got the damage in Q1 and qualified with it. So yeah, many people are starting to... Yeah, controversial decision by Kaz. It's a tough decision to make. He was third before he went in, wasn't he? He was fifth after.
I'm not sure if he had a timed lap. But I'm also not sure what the rulebooks stated and how detailed the rulebooks were made. I mean, if Jap did do a lap with damage because they read the rulebook, then it's hard to not penalize Arakan. But on the other hand, I don't find it very logical to not repair the damage.
As we can see here on the camera, we've currently got the Pro Pin Pretzel movement using the racetrack like a McDonald's car park. They're all doing donuts in victory. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say make him fifth. That should calm both teams down.
Right, so Arakan's taking the fifth position. So Zenq, the Polish driver here. He's a rookie. Hasn't participated in any of the GGRC main season races yet, or any of the league races. So he's kind of an unknown variable in this race. He's somewhat of a wild card, as we're now counting down to the final seconds before the start of the race.
As race start, I'll mute myself and go silent for the first lap to concentrate.
Okay, good luck, Pim. Pro Pim Pretzel movement versus SRV Raffing Point. Got 12 drivers on the grid, 6v6, very balanced by the looks of things in grid positioning. Pro Pin Pretzel movement have got the 1-2 with Pim and Patrick and UFC. As we're getting ready to go. Lights are green and let's go, go, go. Pim rockets up ahead. He builds himself a bit of a gap there. It's the rest of the pack form up behind him. And the safety car is in tow. Oh, MLS with a bit of a chicane hit there. Yeah, but lots of fighting. Someone has just sailed straight off the track. Pat, I've got Pat in fourth there. It looked like someone went straight into a wall. Arakan has pulled up to second place, right behind Pim. Raf is battling for third. You're going to go for safety car already, yeah? It's your call, man. Put it out. Right, Safety car is out immediately at the start of the race. Didn't take long at all for the damage to be to come in. Blue is he's currently at that quarter of a lap behind everyone. So now the drivers have to make sure that they keep their positions, no overtaking, no using this opportunity to gain positions. Pim taking this time to go into the pits, as is everyone. Arakan's stayed out.
Already got punted.
So Arakan's used everyone's going into the pit for recovery.
Is there a speed limit? Cameron. Oh, no speed limit. Yeah, I already got punted in T1. What was that all about?
Yeah. What? Yeah. What's the deal with Arakan? Because everyone just used that opportunity to pit and repair their damage.
Mustn't have done any damage.
So, does he fall back into position?
No, not at all.
No,
he can stay there if he wants.
Ah, interesting. That'll give you something to do for the next few laps.
Well, you should let me by if he's smart.
Yeah, he is your teammate. Arakan's strobing on my screen.
I was defending the inside not to get punted, and still I got hit by someone.
It was it just looked like a cluster of too many people grouped together on grid.
Yeah, I don't think people realise that they need to brake earlier, especially when the grid is tight, but it's just annoying to be casualty of someone else's mistakes.
Right, and now you're just about to catch up to the safety car.
Yeah, Arakan is teleporting all over the screen.
Yeah, well,
he's moving like a fucking...
He has been having lag issues in the quali. It was very noticeable. Blue Phoenix is his first time driving safety car. Decided to go for the Mercedes-Benz. Blue Phoenix is a seasoned GGRC driver. I believe he sits somewhere between...
Respecting the gap.
Yeah, Blue Phoenix currently sits somewhere between a amateur and a mid in the GGRC. Arakan's connection is starting to look really dodgy. Okay, so when will the safety car be coming back in?
Cameron, tell ref to respect the gap.
So if we currently go to RAF here.
Checking like arrows.
So the Pro Pin Pets and Movement have 5 of the top 6 slots, I believe. Oh no, 4 of the top 6.
4 of the top 5.
4 of the top 5 indeed, yeah. RAF being the lone SRV raffing point driver, currently sat in 3rd place, but obviously the safety car will be coming in very momentarily. So if we we are currently on board with the safety driver. Oh, Arakan nearly went off the back of him.
Yeah, dude, he's lagging so much. Cameron, tell him to watch out because he's lagging hard.
So as they come around the final bend of lap 2, it's a safety car going in. Okay, let's have a look. Middle of the grid, Nicolas has just pulled up to 6th and 7th. Kepero's dropped down to 7th as Devil's Hound. Kepero's fallen back to 8th. So yeah, the middle of the grid is very bunched up. It's not a safe place to be with all the bends. RAF trying to make a move on Pim. trying to make various moves on Pim, but Pim's defending like crazy. We've got Patrick in fourth, sandwiching Raf in a Pimpretzer sandwich. Arakan's lagging a bit there again. Arakan gets a warning alerting him of his internet connection. Raf's sort of pulling back on the attack and going more on a defence to keep Patrick at bay, stop him from gaining a position on him. Well, Pim's taken first from Arakan. Arakan, as you can see, is a bit iffy with the way he is all over the track. Now Pim's going to use this advantage, use Arakan's dodgy connection as an advantage to keep Raf at bay, so hopefully Pim can build himself a bit of a lead.
Yeah, I was hearing some collisions though from behind because Arakan glitching all over the place. It's really quite scary.
Well, I'm going to go to we'll go to Arakan now. We'll look at his onboard. Yes, his readings are all fine. He doesn't look like he's carrying damage, but yeah, it's hard to say when he lag spikes because he bounces across the track, and you never know if it's an actual collision or just a ghosting issue.
He's gone up my inside like a maniac.
Yeah, Arakan is. It looks like he's trying to take you down. His own teammate. He
needs to stay back, especially with that lag. It's just not good. It's bad news written all over it.
Yeah, Raf's being very cautious on his attack because he doesn't obviously want to run the risk of being destroyed by Arakan, who may or may not be where he is on track.
I need to open that gap, but the slipstream in these cars is insanely strong.
So we come through the long chicane, round to the final bend as we complete the lap. Pim has collected the first place for the first 5 laps. Oh, Raf going on the inside of Arakan. Oh, Arakan is... I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It looked like Arakan sideswiped Raf and then he ghosted. If we let's go to the onboard of Raf. Raf has taken severe damage to the front bumper and front left wheel. Don't know how that affected. Patrick's now moved up to third. Arakan didn't take any damage at all in that collision, which is interesting. Yeah, it's a lag time incident that Raf's come off the worst for.
Yeah, it's really bad that he's lagging this hard.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if Arakan, him and Raf just were one at the moment. They're both their cars have merged into each other. Yeah, it's now Raf's damage has now caused him to drop back into fourth. Ender's now pulled up into fifth.
Yeah, it's really bad news written all over it.
Yeah, what are you gonna have? Are we gonna have to make a decision? Raf's now dropped down to fifth, and all fourth. He's battling with Ender.
Well, it's a hard one because
yeah, Raf's gone into the pits to.
Some light damage, it's not engine damage.
Yeah, Raf's gone into the pits for some repairs, which has allowed Kepler and Ender to now push up the grid. Kepler just looked like he'd been tapped by Ender, allowed him to hit the wall. The Pro Pimpetzer movement really starting to dominate the upper half of the grid here as we move further back.
It's going to be frustrating for them though, because with their current state of the team being a bit behind ours, and then that punt from Arakan on Raf, that's really kicked them hard because Raf was their highest driver, and now he's all the way back.
We've got ZenQ here, currently in 6th place. He is the wild card, as we've discussed before. Yeah, he only has one rage quit to his name, so any result is a good result for his NQ. So fingers are crossed for him. Okay, so we now bring the grid list back up. MLS and his teammate Devil's Hound currently sat in the 7th and 8th position. As discussed before, Devil's Hound is currently driving this season 13 as a pro, his first time as a pro. He is a very seasoned driver, has advanced knowledge of how to tune a car and how to drive a street car. Not so confident with the super formulas though. And as we go further down the grid, we've got Jabal in 9th, Raf in 10th.
Oh, that's a hard hit.
Yeah, that's, I think it's because he had to pit on the previous laps to get that damage repaired. It's hard to strategize when, like, because you can't take into account any accidents that you're going to have, which may or may not just damage your vehicle.
Yeah, but you can try and create some buffers in your strategy, but especially in the starting stages of the race, when the grid is still tightly packed, any pit stop will make you drop down all the way back. But there are still loads of time in the race left, so he has a good chance to climb all the way back up.
So as we go all the way to the very back of the grid now, we've got Nick LS in 11th and Leo K in 12th. Leo K being part of the Pimpretz movement and Nick LS being the Raffing Point team. It's a really hard call over who's going to succeed over Nick LS and Leo K. They're constant rivals.
Very interesting.
Every time they're on track together, they are rivals.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say Leo K is the faster driver, potentially. Nicholas, however, has better overall consistency when looking at previous race results.
Would you really say so? I think what's more consistent for Nick is finishing near the back of the grid. Yeah, I think Nick might be able to match Leo's pace, but he is really not that good in the race itself. Leo K is often also a bit smarter with strategy and stuff. I don't see that stuff from Nick yet.
I suppose.
I think that gives Leo K a slight edge, but in these cars Nick might have some added experience. He quite likes the Super Formula and F1 cars and such. So I think he might have practiced a fair bit, and he wants to go beat Leo K, his arch nemesis.
Right, so Pat's got damage.
What kind of damage?
He's front and front right. So I suppose.
Oh, he picked that up himself, didn't he?
Can we look at a replay of Pat? Is this going to show us anything? I'm not seeing anything on the replay. It could have been Arakan, might not have been, who knows. Arakan's on board, he's showing he's safe as houses as Patrick goes in for the pit. So now we've got a Pim and Arakan and Ender as a Pro Pimpetson movement 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Patrick's now in 7th as he's rejoined the grid. I'm not seeing Devil's Hound as he, yeah, Devil's Hound's currently in the pits. Oh no, he's out of the pits. He's now back on grid.
What did he pit for?
Damage.
Oh well, as well.
Yeah, the Raffing Point team are not having the best of luck in this in the first stages of this race. However, they do have RAF PG7 and Devil's Hound. Although they're suffering at the minute, they are kind of master strategists. So hopefully they can use it. They can pull something off.
Yeah, the strategies are going to be an interesting point here, especially with these longer races. They have a really big influence on what's going to happen. And if the drivers want to stop for tires, they must wait 30 seconds before doing so, so the pit stops have added extra length to them.
I
so
see.
It's more viable to pick a hard compound and take less pit stops.
So as we're currently on board, looking back from GGRC Ender, as Capello is hunting him down, trying to get this SRV Raffing Point into a podium position. Ender's doing very well to keep Kepler at bay.
It's not looking good for the Raffing Point team, sadly.
It really isn't. So we're now on board with Kepler as we're looking at the back of GGRC Ender. Takes the corner very cleanly. Oh, he just had a bit of contact there. Didn't seem to do any damage, but Kepler had the better racing line, but Ender was in the way, so Kepler looked like he just gave Ender a little tap on the exit of the bend.
Yeah, that happens. That's really quite frustrating for the driver behind, actually, because you're giving all of the extra speed you carry with your better line to the driver in front, and you just seem speed off on the straight.
So as we move down the grid now, we've got MLS and Patrick. Oh no, Patrick in 5th, MLS in 6th, and ZenQ in 7th. There's not 1/100th of a second between the three of them as they're battling for position. MLS is currently stuck in a pin press and movement sandwich as he sits in 6th place between Patrick and ZenQ. ZenQ is really performing well this race. As we've discussed in the past, MLS is a very fast driver. He's a very aggressive driver. Doesn't necessarily always have the best racecraft, but he is incredibly fast. He's just got to get past the barrier that is Patrick. Interesting note to point there is ZenQ and Patrick both being Polish, keeping the Frenchman at bay in a Poland sandwich.
I think the big thing about the racecraft and the aggressiveness of a driver is age, and MLS is certainly one of the more young drivers within our community.
Yep.
So he definitely has the pace, but none of the patience. He'll be pushing and looking at every corner he can find. Force to be reckoned with, really scary to have behind you.
It must be, would you say it's tougher being in the middle of the grid, like having to both attack and defend, with the position MLS is in, being right behind Patrick and ahead of ZenQ? Is it harder to attack and defend at the same time than it is just to maintain consistency and stay ahead of everyone?
Well, I'm commentating with you lot, so I think that says enough. Yeah, I mean, if you're in the middle there and you're having to defend and attack, it can get really quite stressful because you're having to watch multiple cars and you need to make decisions. Am I going to defend or am I going to look for that inside? And whilst you look for that inside, you could also be defending to the person behind, because then they are forced to go on the outside. So you have to weigh off every move you make. And often, what I find is best is to ignore the driver behind. If you ignore them, they often don't get the chance to get the inside or an overtake maneuver done, but you can still focus ahead.
Yep.
Or what you could do as well is just try and stay on the middle of the track, make sure the driver behind doesn't get an opportunity and just wait for a mistake in front. If you're starting to attack the driver in front, often the driver behind can get a double overtake.
Yeah.
Which has actually happened quite a lot in this season, season 13. You've seen quite a few of those maneuvers where two drivers were battling and then driver number 3 shows up and swoops them both.
As we fall down the grid now, we've got Jabal in 8th place. He's sort of middle of the grid. There's yeah, kind of an unknown quantity as is. He is part of a completely different racing team or racing organisation, shall we say, with the ORI guys. and yeah, this is his first special event with the GGRC. Outside of we had the GGRC versus ORI Team v Team back in
season 13 as well.
He is currently in season 13, yeah. So yeah, he's doing well in 8th. Let's have a look. As we move even further down the grid, we've got Raf currently sat in 9th position. He's got a lot of work to do to gain any sort of ground. And then in 10th we've got Nick LS. Nick LS is kind of a lone wanderer. He's 10 seconds behind Raf and 8.5 seconds ahead of Devil's Hound. Devil's Hound obviously suffered with that pit damage earlier. The damage and then pitting, sorry. And then all the way back in last place, a whopping 40 seconds behind Devil's Hound is Leo K, the lonely Leo K.
I think I'll be lapping him soon.
Let me have a look. Yeah, yeah. That's you're probably about 7 seconds behind Leo K.
Okay. Poor guy.
So looking at the on boards, Leo K's got pretty good tyres, but he does have front end damage. Devil's Hound's tyres are somewhat worn. He's probably not going to pit for a little while yet. Same with Nicholas. Yeah, tyre wear's all fairly consistent. ZenQ's tyres are probably the worst out of the grid.
Yeah, the hard thing to manage the tyre wear is once the tyres start wearing, the car starts sliding more and it starts getting more or less understeer based on what tyres you're worn the most. So it's a bit of a squared equation. Once you start wearing them, they'll only start wearing faster if you're not careful. If you start spinning those rear wheels up, it can get really dangerous.
So you're looking at my details here. You're the most successful driver in GGRC, Pim, a 4-time main league champion and title contender in the current season 13, for driver. I've explained earlier when you were at break that the team standings are looking quite favourable. It's really still anyone's game as we're approaching the back end of the season 13.
Indeed it is, and the points will be increased for winning those, so it can still be very tight.
So Leo K pulled over to the right to allow you to pass safely without any sort of arguments. Yep.
Is anyone looking at the comments, or should I?
Yeah.
Well, up on the next straight, I'll grab my phone again and start breathing.
Well, Arakan's driving is now starting to look a bit safer. I don't want to jinx that. There's a little bit of stuttering there with his internet connection, but as they now approach the straight, he's using this opportunity to get past Leo K, who I think Leo K has pitted. So bringing up the information.
He has pitted once or twice if he's that far back.
Yeah.
What happened to him? But he was actually doing decent times in practice.
You're currently with an nearly 8-second lead over Arakan. You've got Ender in 3rd, so yeah, it's currently a Pro Pimpactor movement 1, 2, 3 as we're it's like the first third is slowly starting to wind down as lap 17.
Yeah, probably a good position for me to be in here. I mean, it's interesting doing the live commentary.
But we're
The pit window should open soon for all the drivers on softs. I
yeah,
expect some people might go to medium soon.
it's starting to look that way as the tyre wear all starts to come down. Kepro, the lone Racing Point driver, in 4th, with a big gap over 5th place, which is Patrick. Just had a slight collision with the wall there. He's taken some damage, not sufficient enough to call out the safety car. I am concerned that the only way the Racing Point are going to make up any sort of...
there goes my phone, sorry.
Jabble's pulled up to 7th over ZenQ. Yeah, I think a safety car might be the only thing that's going to allow RAF and Devil's Hound to catch up with the grid. Devil's Hound all the way back in 11th. This, although
can't Kepler ride quite yet. I think Kepler might be the fastest one of their team in the Super Formula. He put up a really good fight in Season 5, which was the Super Formula as well.
as I'm looking through the group here, Jabal, Nicholas and Devil's Hound are the only drivers, oh, and Leo K are the only drivers at the moment on mediums.
Who? Sorry?
Jabal, Devil's Hound, Nicholas and Leo K are all currently on mediums.
They are on a different strategy.
Currently got a comment in the on the stream. Kaz, if you want to check out what the spectators are saying.
Off the floor. Oh, sorry guys, I have to go by Z now.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Kaito typing arrogance got some serious lag going on. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Really scary stuff.
Yeah, it's been nerve-wracking to watch, let alone being a driver like near him on track.
Yeah.
Just want to see where Leo K is. So Leo K is currently sat. What's that? Oh, safety car. Yeah, Leo K is currently sort of 5th and 6th in the grid. Like he's had a few drivers overtake him already. So where's Pat? Pat's in 5th, yeah. So he's still got quite a grid ahead of him. He's got Devil's Hound is in 11th, ahead of him by a minute, and there's now 1 minute 50 separating Leo K and Pim. That's last place and first place. Okay, let's see how Raf's doing. I don't think there is a way of me bringing up the lap times, because it'd be interesting to see what's. Oh, there we go. Previous lap was 1 minute 30. Really is a testament to how fast a driver you are, Pim, that you're and how experienced a driver you are, that you can command such a huge lead over second. You also are in the commentary box, and you have the fastest lap so far. So
yeah, I don't want to sound smug, but kind of boring.
I tipped my cap to you.
Thank you, sir. I mean, it's looking like quite the commanding lead at the moment, but maybe their strategy is far superior to ours, and I'm not as safe as I like to think I am.
Yeah, I mean, the tyre wear's all starting to get close to the dangerous areas, so that might be the opportunity that the teams need to group up a bit more.
I know that most of our team is going to pit in the following laps. But them being on the mediums already is a really interesting choice. I wonder who came up with that strategy. As I'm now starting to pull away from American a bit more, as I think his tyre wear is worsening a bit.
So with the you said at the start there was no tyre rules. So
no, I don't think there are. Cameron, can you confirm?
So why would you choose mediums over softs? Is it just the length of time they can stay on track?
Yeah, as I was trying to explain before. Yeah, as I was trying to say before, the added pit stop penalty. So the time you have to spend for doing a pit stop is 30 seconds. So you have to do a really long pit stop, which drops you back. So by taking the harder compound, you could technically do a pit stop less and gain about 40 seconds on your competition. But it will mean that you have to drive on the harder tires, which is obviously slower. It's been calculated by the admins, I guess, so interesting strategies could be formed. So the medium might be viable. I'm not sure about the hard. I haven't tested any of them actually. I've only tested the soft tire. I'm not planning to go on a different set of tires. That's why I'm interested to see what they are doing behind me. They might be able to put up a fight with those other tires soon.
Right, it appears that you are approaching another driver. Looks like that's a 10-second gap or so behind Patrick.
Is that Patrick?
Yeah, what happened to Patrick for him to drop down to 11th? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, he's on a fresh set of soft compound tyres.
Okay, so he pitted early, which could mean that after this set he is switching to the mediums, or he'll have to do an extended set of soft, which could be dangerous.
So I'm going to move up the grid now, just to let's have a look, see who we're with end up. So interestingly, we had was there a Super Formula event as part of the GGRC versus ORI TVT? Yeah. I remember during the race, Arakan hadn't mapped his overtake onto his steering wheel, so it was a completely wasted feature.
Pitting in now, by the way.
Okay, Pim is pitting in now. Arakan is pitting in now. So that gives Ender the opportunity to. Oh no, Ender's deciding to pit now as well. As is Kepler.
Oh, Kepler could be on the same strategy as our team.
So in fifth, we got MLS, who is now using this opportunity to take the lead. He's sort of sat behind Leo K. He's now using the slipstream to get past Leo K as they enter T1. So MLS's previous lap was a 1:31.
Just for Jabal having to defend the inside coming out of the pit.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. The position on the inside.
Just caught that inside overtake. Jabal in third now. Got Raf back up into fourth, although he will have to pit either this lap or the next. Arakan is now down in fifth. Sixth, we've got Nicolas. Nicolas is up in sixth. He obviously didn't follow your strategy, or is that an educated thing?
What tires are MLS and Jabal on to be in these positions?
So we've currently got, let's have a look. Jabal is on mediums, still got plenty of grip before he'll have to pit. Raf is on softs. So like I say, he'll be looking to pit in the next few laps.
What about Mark? Gaining quite hard on him.
Mark is on softs and he will be pitting very soon as well in the next few laps.
Jeez, he must have worn tires. How old are Raf's tires? Did he pit when he got damaged?
Raf did not. Raf's tires are old as well.
Oh, so Mark and Raf are on the same strategy, whilst Jabal seems to be on the same strategy as Devil's Hound, I guess.
Yep.
So it looks like they are running two strategies, where one set of them went onto the mediums.
So Nicholas staying out when he his mediums are start getting progressively more worn. Let's go to GGRC Ender down in 7th. Fresh softs.
Flags for Leo K again, Cameron.
Devil's Hound in 8th. Blue flag for Leo K. So we got Devil's Hound in 8th position, followed up by Keplero. It is sad to see Devil's Hound so far back, as it is to see Keplero. As I said earlier, Keplero is he's had a really hit and miss last few couple of months. He's either been really fast or he's struggled to keep up with the grid. Patrick currently in 10th. Then we've got ZenQ back down to 11th. So Pat and ZenQ are following the same strategy for them to be together. And then Leo K all the way down in last. Leo K is about to be lapped by Jabal. Poor Leo K is currently in a different time zone. He is the he is the most experienced AM driver. He's been with the GGRC since season 4. So yeah, I mean the distance between you're looking at nearly a minute behind 11th place, and there's no chance of Patrick or ZenQ giving up those positions.
Closing that gap to Mark, now within slipstream range.
Yeah, so we're now on board with Pim as he's on the approach to MLS. Look at the ground you're gaining with every bend as you go for the overtake. As we approach the final bend before the straight. Yeah. Yeah, that tyre compound is really starting to hinder MLS. I'm not sure if it's wise for them to stay out.
And the 27A to show off. Unless running really deep in that turn, almost hit me.
Yep. Fantastic performances by everyone, to be honest. I was expecting a lot more a lot more incidents.
No new comments. Come on, guys. Give me something to read.
Well, there's a new comment for you.
Oh, Ara is then a double agent. How come we, Lillian? Alliterate.
So, on board Varakan here, his internet connection seems to have tidied itself up very much more. There's doesn't seem to be any lag spikes or ping issues. And we fall back to 5th place, which is rough.
Into the gulag. Lillian, let me know if you can hear my engine audio, as I have the 2 different volumes set. If so, I'll turn the TV down a bit. Or if it's not annoying, let me know as well. MLS and RAF have used this opportunity to pit. Ender goes from 6th up into 4th. He's
he was close enough behind them to use that opportunity. Kepero now
Nerds.
pushing up into 5th.
If you want, you can T-pose with me and earn the Super Formula. Would be good for ballast reasons.
Jabal is now in 2nd place. He's looking to overtake or lap Leo K. Leo K is being very defensive when he doesn't need to be.
That's painful.
Yeah, he's pulled
Jabal in P2 though.
Yeah, Leo K has pulled over to allow Jabal and Arakan to pass.
Could Jabal be in P2 because he hasn't pitted yet?
Yeah, I think the strategy is what's keeping them on grid. I mean, he's on mediums. Arakan goes for the wide overtake, and he gets it. Sort of neck and neck now between Jabal and Arakan as they're battling for 2nd. So they approach the harsh left-hand turn. Yeah, Arakan takes the lead over Jabal. Leo K looks like he's using the racing line, though the 2 drivers ahead of him are setting to at least try and set himself some good laps to approach the final straight.
Guys, Cameron really needs a new mic. Go fend him on his OnlyFans. It's never loud. Oh, you got no clue what you're talking about, eh? Here's Nicky og Max-underlaget. It's really good. Lillian will say it's really good. Lillian backing me up in the comments.
So Leo K is he's performing better now than he was at the start of the race. It begs the question, like, how much practice did he do? He seems to be getting faster as the race is going on.
Well, like I said, I think he had enough practice and his lap times were looking good. I imagine he caught a piece of damage, got frustrated, and he had to get back on top of it, get back in that flow. It can be quite hard to repack yourself after a mishap. As you probably all know, you can get quite angry at yourself for making dumb mistakes.
Yep.
But you gotta stay calm and try and make the most of it.
So at the back of the grid now, we're looking Raf PT7 in 11th. He obviously, yeah, I can confirm he did go into the pits on the previous lap, and he switched to racing mediums. So he's dropped right back, and he's now on a compound that mediums aren't as fast as softs, but they do allow you to stay out longer. But
Yeah,
I mean, what we're looking at, he's 58 seconds behind race leader and 7 seconds behind the person ahead of him, which is MLS. So
the strategy for their team seems to be medium soft soft or soft medium soft, I imagine. I don't think they thought of the strategy to keep 3 sets of soft because it would wear the tires too much. And then one of theirs started on the medium to get a slower first and then catch the people later in the race, and then they had one opposing strategy just to give them the most opportunities to be tactical about it. And I think our team has gone with the same strategy all over the board, which is soft, soft, soft. Hitting lap 22, 44, and then finishing on lap 66, so splitting the race in 3 equal halves.
let's go to position number 10, which is MLS, currently very lonely on the grid at the moment, as he's 7 seconds ahead of 11th, which is Raf, and he's 6.5 seconds behind 9th place, which is ZenQ. But yeah, he doesn't. Oh, he is starting to make time up on ZenQ, so we could potentially see MLS doing battle once more in a couple of laps' time. As we move up the grid now to ZenQ, so the Poland sandwich of ZenQ and Patrick. ZenQ in 9th, Patrick in 6th. They've sort of wedged Nicholas and Devil's Hound in between them in the 7th and 8th position. ZenQ going for a cheeky overtake as he connects with Devil's Hound on T1. of lap 30. Devil's Hound takes the position back as they do the hairpin. Now they're battling side by side. It's so close between them two. Devil's Hound backs off a little bit. I think ZenQ has got the superior tyres. Yeah, he's got a fresher set of tyres, and he's on softs compared to Devil's Hound's mediums. ZenQ's looking to push up and take 7th from Nick LS.
The good thing about these longer races is that anything can happen. We've seen it before. These special event races are such fun because you can change a lot with strategy and repacking yourself if things goes wrong.
ZenQ with a very wide overtake on Nick LS. Gets up to 7th place. So now we're back to having Patrick and ZenQ driving together in the 6th and 7th position. They're doing well to move up the grid. Jabal has dropped back to 4th. Ender in 3rd, Arakan in 2nd, and Pim in 1st. So we're currently looking at a very dominant Pim Pretzel movement. Leo K in a world of his own there. He's about to be taken by Keplero in 5th. He's king of the blue flags this race.
I think what's making this race maybe a bit more stale than the previous, I'd say the previous 2 endurance events. Wait, no, 3 actually. The previous 3 is the fact that there is no tire rules. Our first real special event was the LMP1 around Spa. We had mandatory set of soft, medium and hard, and it made the strategies really interesting. And especially with the safety car and people getting hit, people could do a lot of changes to their strategy and still come out on top. And then we had the internal TVT, where due to strategy, people tried to get rid of the mediums and hards as quickly as possible and then just spam the softs, and that really gave the team chaps a giant advantage and made them win with quite a commanding lead. And then the final one was the 787B event, which was a bit more stale, but that was more due to the cars. I think the strategy there as well played a big role. Here just being soft. It's not much going on, I'd say.
There you have it, folks. Pim 2407, and not content with keeping in first, having the fastest lap, being in the commentary box, he's now decided to go after the admins and their race organising.
No, it's just something to take for next round. Constructive criticism.
As he's building his 15-second lead over his teammate Arakan. Arakan really starting to get consistent now that his internet's leveled out, to the benefit of other drivers as well as his own. Arakan 9 seconds ahead of GGRC Ender. Yeah, Pat has a history of poor internet connections, as does our 8th place MLS. So as we move further down the grid, no, wrong way. Nicholas in 9th at the moment. He really trying to get every last drop out of those mediums. I'd be surprised if he stays on track as he enters the final bend. He should be pitting now, and he does. So MLS is back to being alone on the track. No one around him. Raf now takes the 9th position. 10th we've got Devil's Hound trailing behind in 11th as he enters the final stages of lap 32. So according to the timesheet. Devil's Hound is he's now 1 minute and 37 seconds behind race leader Pim. Devil's Hound has taken 10th. Nicholas drops down to 11th. Leo K is he's so far behind now. It's hard to tell now looking at the map who is who's where. So Patrick is the next person that'll be overtaking Leo K.
Anyone in the comments got some Netflix suggestions to keep me awake?
Okay, I see what information I have on Patrick. Patrick is one of the very first GGRC members, previously an admin, and he co-founded the GGRC with Kaz, our race director, and GGRC Ender. He's one of the most experienced GGRC drivers with several wins and one of the highest races completed. He is a 3-time GGRC League champion. His last league win, I believe, was season 10, the Group 4 season.
Where he was. That season,
yeah, we don't speak of that season because he was driving the underpowered Alfa Romeo 4C.
We've had some unbalanced seasons in the GGRC, but most seasons I'd say were okay.
We can still hear you, you're fine.
That would have been nice as lobby host.
No, got Arakan is second. He's got Nicholas behind him, but Nicholas is in 11th place as a lapped driver.
Lapped?
Yeah, Nicholas has been lapped.
I didn't get the glory of weaving in front of him.
No, he was in the pit when you went past, I believe.
Oh, too bad.
This has not been a particularly good result for Devil's Hound. Let's have a look at his figures. Yeah, he's still on the mediums. Running low on the overtake. Raf has got 3/4 of his overtake still to use. Devil's Hound's almost out of his. And Leo K's barely used his as well. Wonder if that's a choice. Oh!
Our safety car with a connection issue.
We now no longer have a safety car. We have lost safety car.
I'll be safety car if we have to.
Right, I'm going to take a technical lag out for a moment and go to the toilet. So, Pim, feel free to take over as commentary lead.
Yeah. So yeah, our safety car has magically left. In case of any issues, we will have a VSC with a speed limiter of what, Cameron? Sorry, Cameron, say again. 8 kilometers is not a speed. Also, how many? $18 miles an hour. Cameron, what made you come to the conclusion of doing 18-mile-an-hour VSC? Do you mean 180 kilometers? What's that in miles? let's just say 200 kilometers or 122 miles an hour.
Right, the intermission is over. I'm back.
I'll come back.
Okay, safety car is no more.
Why is Ender typing? Isn't he supposed to race?
Yeah, what is Ender doing? He's just being as blasé and casual as you are in first. A very dominant 1-2-3 there for the pro Pim Pretzer movement.
Yeah, what's the gaps between me actually?
So we're looking at Arakan is 17 seconds behind you. Obviously, you know that. Ender is 30 seconds behind you. The gap between second and third, Ender and Arakan, is 12 seconds. Ender has a 6-second lead over fourth, which is Kepro, who's 10 seconds ahead of Jabal, which is fifth. The gap between fifth and sixth is 5.5 seconds. And then Patrick and Zenq are 2 seconds apart in sixth and seventh. MLS 5 seconds behind that. So MLS is at 1 minute and 4 seconds behind you.
Okay.
And he's in eighth. And then ninth, Raf is just behind him. And then it breaks up again because the Raf in ninth, Devil's Hound in 10th at 34 seconds behind that. Nicholas in 11th, who's even further behind. Nicholas is 1 minute 55 behind you, and Leo K is 2 minutes 29 behind you.
Sorry, Cameron. If the car is doing what a lot?
Are other cars teleporting, or is the race okay for you?
I'm not seeing any other cars, so I can't tell really. Everything seems fine from my side. Well, as I said, I can't see any other cars.
Arakan is approaching Devil's Hound to go for the lap.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Devil's Hound is behind me?
Yeah, you must have just overtaken him at some point.
I must have gotten him and Nick in the pit.
Let me have a look at his figures. So yeah, Devil's Hound has not long pitted because he's on the racing mediums. Arakan is on the softs, but they are worn. We've got comments in the stream. Kaz, if you want to give them a read.
I'll do it.
Arakan pushing hard on Devil's Hound. He really wants Devil's Hound out of the way. Blue fags for everyone. I am surprised. I am really surprised, to be honest. We're 40 laps in. Although one could argue that the Leo K's 2 minutes and 35 seconds behind you, Pim. I feel that is a vast improvement over our what we would be like on 40 laps of a season race. I think people have done practice. I think people have practiced hard for this. It's just obviously they're not getting the results that they otherwise would have hoped for.
Yeah, I think with the heavy damage, every mistake is highlighted, especially in a race like this. And it's just very tough to get out of that negative Spiral, I'd say, once things go batshit, they often don't go well again. It looks like the other team had a bit less practice, or maybe just went on the wrong strategy. I mean, with Devil and Aragon on the two teams, it's always quite competitive because they really don't want to lose to each other, I think.
It's hard to gauge why they have suffered so much. Because it's very unlike Bradley to be at the back of the grid for this long, as well as Raf down in eighth position. I know obviously they had incidents at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, but so did most people. I think it's mostly down to the amount of practice we've had and the strategy they are on. I don't think the mediums were the right tyres.
How we've got spectators saying stuff in the chat.
Yeah, Spider Maguire said hello, William responding to him. Then we have Blue Phoenix. Blue Phoenix obviously not happy with his effect.
The safety car has left and then come back to complain about the safety car.
Cameron typing, please pray for my Wi-Fi. I hope your Wi-Fi will last, Cameron.
Aragon just took a bend very wide and he connected with the wall, so he's now taking front end and wheel damage.
Oh, that's not good, but we will be pitting soon anyway on this strategy.
He's got Aragon's got a 15-second lead over third, and third is your teammate anyway, it's Ender.
Arid saying meme fest, laughing my fucking ass off. Indeed, Arid. We have to keep this interesting.
Yeah, Aragon's used that opportunity to pit. So
interesting.
Ender's now in third. He's fast approaching Devil's Hound. No, who is Ender behind?
It's going to be interesting to see if
Aragon
Nick will go to the mediums because he pitted earlier, or if we will extend the stint of softs. Keep an eye on Aragon.
Right, Ender is approaching Nick LS as they go into the hairpin at T2.
Okay.
So if you I would blue flag Nick potentially. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, and it's just pulling on Nicholas.
Aragon looking out for what tyres he's going to pick. What is he on?
Right, so as we go now, Capero moved up in third. He's a very lonely driver as fourth and fifth battling each other for no reason. Zenq and Patrick, fourth and fifth. Sixth is now Aragon, who's taken softs.
Okay, so he's going to do an extended soft stint. He'll be struggling at the end of that one.
Yeah. It's not looking good for SRV Raffing Point as the top six drivers, 5 of them are Pro Pimpets and Movement.
Yeah, only Kepler sticking in here.
MLS we have in 7th place.
Wonder if Kep is staying in that top 3. I'm not sure what strategy he is on, but it's quite impressive that he is still in here alone and the rest of his team has dropped back. So credits to Kepler really hanging on.
Kepler is somewhat alone at the moment. He's 20 seconds ahead of 4th place and only 4.5 seconds behind 2nd place, which is GGRC Ender. Yeah, it's starting to look like Kepler has really got back into the groove, like trying to shake off the rust of the last few weeks.
Yeah, as I said, I thought he might be the most competitive one out of their team because he was really good in Season 5 and he's always been really fast. We've seen it in the 787B special event where he just managed to clutch the rear of my Mazda. And now as well, trying to overtake Ender, it looks like then.
No, he's got someone behind him, a lapped driver behind him. I think it's Nick. No, it's Leo K. I think Leo K's just copying his racing line to try and give himself a bit more of a boost. But yeah, I mean, Kepro in third. Oh, he's just had a bit of a dodgy spin there on the final bend of lap 43.
Who has?
Kep wasn't damaging.
He spin?
He did. No, it was like he oversteered.
Oversteer, yeah. Not hitting the wall though.
The Ender's pitted, which has allowed Kepro to get in second, and he's gonna. Kepro is hungry to shorten the gap between him and you.
Is he going to be having to pit again though? Keptero in P2.
Oh, he'll definitely be pitting soon.
Yeah, I'm pitting now as well. I imagine Kep's also going to pit now.
Probably. I mean, looking at the time, he's got 21 seconds over third place, which is Zen Q, who stayed out rather than follow Pat, who's been his running mate. Based on the times that I'm seeing here, I would assume that if both you and Kepro pit, well, if you pit, you'll still come out first. Kepro's going to come re-enter the track, I'd imagine, just behind Arakan in fourth, and possibly behind MLS in fifth, but we'll see. He's kicking the tail out on that final bend every time. Yeah, Kepro's gone in for the pit, so now got a 30-second wait. Zen Q now in third as he approaches the final chicane and then the final bend of the lap. And Arakan behind him really pulling that time back. He's just instantly, yeah, Zen Q goes in for the pit, which then allows Arakan to stay out, take third place. Pim has re-entered the track in first.
Kepro is stayed out.
Kepro stayed out, yeah. That was an interesting decision.
Now in front of Leo K and behind Nick LS, who are not that far apart anymore.
I will tell you, Nick has lapped Leo K.
Oh, what?
Leo K is now at 3 minutes and 44 seconds behind race leader.
I wonder what that is.
In fact, the gap between Nick LS and Leo K is so big, it won't even tell me a time.
Okay, give some blue flags to Nick.
Nick LS in 11th is 17 seconds behind Devil's Hound in 10th. It's not been a successful race for Devil's Hound.
Nick's going in.
Yeah, Zen Q has he's now back down into 9th. So
there it goes,
Kep goes into the pit. Arakan comes around the final bend, which now obviously means Arakan's going to take that second position. MLS, I believe, will be staying out as well, so that should put MLS up into third as he passes Kepler in the pit. Yep, so MLS is now in the third position. Raf crosses the line and is now in fourth. So now we've got Pro Pimpreza movement in 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 is Raffing Point. Fucking what horrible name. SRV Raffing Point.
What does the SRV stand for?
I don't know, but you've picked two of the worst names for teams.
Well, my team name is actually something Cameron came up with, but my teammates managed to give through wrong. It's actually supposed to be the Pro Pimpreza movement. And then SRV Raffing Point. I can only imagine SRV stands for slow rolling vehicle, but I'm not sure. Sim racing Bev, no. I prefer slow rolling vehicle. Oh my days. Yeah, slow rolling vehicle. slow racing Viv. Ah, poor guy.
So we're just 20 laps left for the main grid, or 19 as they all cross the line for the final time.
Now the grid will start to settle, and I think the final battles for positions will start to happen. Before it was anyone's game with strategies and not knowing what could happen, but now I think the final stops are happening or have happened.
Let's have a look at some of the I'm interested by the why would anyone choose mediums when softs is an option? Because it doesn't look like they're getting much more life out of the tyres.
No, but the softs are quite worn at the end of a 22 lap stint, so if your tyre wear isn't optimal, it's probably not a bad idea to go to the mediums, but they might have not tested the strategies enough, or they could have not seen that there were no tyre rules, because usually in a GGRC race there is a multiple tyre rule compound thing going on, but who knows, we'll only know maybe after we do some driver interviews why they have gone for that.
Well, for those of you watching at home, I can tell you, you do not need to adjust your screens. Nick LS in 11th is, yes, indeed, about to overtake Leo K in 12th. Nicholas is incredibly far ahead of 12th position. So yeah, it looks like the battle of the rookies is Nicholas has come out on top in the super formulas.
Bit embarrassing. Who's the most standout driver for you guys, both maybe positively, negatively, or just unlucky?
I would say obviously you are absolutely dominating.
Yeah, that's already... Yeah, I meant like surprising things that happen. Was it now? Oh.
Right. Raf is now up into 4th, but looking at his diagnostics, I wouldn't be surprised if he did pit again at some point in the next 20 laps.
Yeah, that will put him back again.
It's it's an interesting strategy he's gone for. Kepero's doing fine. Kepero has been okay. He's been fairly decent this race. Zenq's sort of been all over the grid. He's been up the front, he's been down the back. Him and Pat have been like quite a twosome, a real shake and bake.
They've stayed quite close to each other and they've moved all over the place.
So yeah, looking at the times now, I mean Zenq's fallen back a bit now. He's 7.5 seconds behind Patrick, but yeah, throughout the whole race, them two as a double team have really applied a lot of pressure to all the drivers that they've managed to sandwich in their little the little Polish double team. And of course, yeah, Zenq, this is this is now the longest he's raced for GGRC. So any result after now is a win for him.
Let's hope he's satisfied with his result as well.
Patrick's taken 7th position from Jabal. Jabal looks like he's
taking my fast slap. What a cunt.
Patrick is exactly 1 minute behind you, Pim. He sort of he overtook Jappy, but he's struggling to shake him off. Jappy's doing well to stay on his tail. Well, Jappy did just have a bit of connection with the fence. Didn't take any damage. Right, let's see how we doing for time. Yeah, Patrick is he's not making any time and he's not losing any time on Kepler in 6th, so they may be sitting in those positions until the end, or at least until the next pit. Kepler is slowly catching up to Enderwolf, still for like 4.5 seconds between them. Raf up in 4th. He's going to have to change those tyres soon, which is then going to obviously bump him down, back down the grid.
There we go, took the fast lap again. Can't know if Eric can take that. Jeez, that would be embarrassing. Need to establish some dominance around here.
Yeah, it's outstanding that this far in the race you can still set the fastest lap.
Oh, I left a bit of overtake, I've used it all now. Oh, that's it. I'd have been dead already, just like Spa.
Arakan has overtaken Leo K. He's now looking to overtake Nick LS. And there's a bit of a gap. He's got a little while yet.
So yeah, if any pro racing team is watching, hello, I'm Pim, I'm Dutch, and I really like your seat. I don't know what car it is. I'll take it. I'll make you a millionaire. Any commentary boxes as well? I can do 2 jobs at once. I'll commentate and race.
MLS is really going to have to work hard. I mean, he's going to have to pit again soon, but he's going to have to work hard to keep a podium. He's got Raf behind him, like 5 seconds, which it's not a lot of time. And then Ender's like 1 second behind Raf. I can't believe how close the middle of the group is at the moment. I think, yeah, you're going to. You're lapping Devil's Hand for the 2nd time, I think. No, first 1 minute 24 seconds.
Yeah, no, that's a one-time lap.
Yeah, Devil's Hand very lonely on the grid here. 31 seconds ahead of Nick LS in 11th, 14 seconds behind Zen Q in 9th. Let's go back to Sir Jabal at the moment in 8th. Back in that Poland sandwich. He's 4 seconds either side of Patrick and Zen Q. On board with Kepler, he's making a push to catch up with Raf. Oh.
There is a group of 3 just coming out of team 2. Might want to have a look at that. There are some interesting fights going on.
Oh, they're all... Well, MLS going into the hairpin, followed closely by GGRC end up. Raf PG7 hot on his heels and Kepler behind them. So 4, 5 and 6 are very close. However, with 4, 5 and 6 you've got Kepler. Oh no, Kepler's on decent tyres. Yeah, Raf's the one that's not so good on his tyres. But Raf is incredibly fast anyway, so I think he'd probably catch up with Ender. It's only 2.5 seconds that he's got to get up behind him. So we're now, what, 13 laps away from the end? Or 12 for you?
Yep.
We've got MLS in third. Oh, MLS, yeah, he's... Did someone just pit? Is that Leo K? Yeah. So MLS is... Leo K's just come out of the pits. There must have been damage, repairing damage. I'm really surprised, everyone's done really well.
MLS now into P3.
Yep.
That's the biggest surprise for me so far. Is it gonna hang in there?
No. I don't think he has the tyres to last another 12 laps. I wish he did, but yeah, he doesn't, and the middle of the grid is still so close that if he does pit, he's going to drop right back. In Kepler, assuming everything sort of balances out, you got Raf and Kep in 5th and 6th at the moment. Kep's got good tyres. Raf does not have good tyres, so Raf and MLS must be on the same strat.
Well, if Raf has bad tyres, how is he looking behind?
What do you mean?
Well, if Raf has worse tyres, and with Pat behind him, are they going to have a fight at the end of the race?
Well, Pat is 2 seconds behind Raf. Pat's got Pat's got enough tyres to last the race.
With Raf on bad tyres, he's probably going to fall back then.
Yeah, Raf is going to fall way back. Kepler, unless something awful happens, yeah, Kepler's going to be potentially battling for 3rd place.
Oh wow! I hope they get that.
Because he's now 2 seconds behind MLS, who's 2 seconds behind Ender. There's 4 seconds between 5th and 3rd. So Kepler has the ability to go the distance.
Yeah, Kep's really been doing well, I think. I mean, if they could snatch that P3, they still have a little bit of light in this race.
Yeah, I feel bad because the damage that Raf sustained at the beginning and whatnot, that must have really thrown him off.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you can always look at it from this perspective. How much time did it actually cost, and would that have made a big impact? I mean, stopping for damage, not switching any tires and stuff, maximum would lose you 15 seconds.
Yeah, MLS and Kepler now side by side as Kepler pushed up to 4th after T1. They approached the hairpin, Kepler ahead, MLS behind. Oh, excuse me. Ender's pulled a bit of distance between 3rd and 4th, but Kepler looks like he's going to be shortening that gap real soon. As they approach the 90-degree right-hand turn, Kep has a beautiful racing line. Leo K spinning out and just getting in everyone's way there dangerously. Leo K is now rolling across the track. Right, he's back on the wheels, and he's going as Raf in 6th laps him again. Right, okay, Raf in 6th. MLS slowly starting to fall behind Kepro. Kepro's back on the attack, trying to catch back up with Enderwolf as they approach the final chicane and final bend before the straight. Right, who have we got in the pits? Nick LS is currently in the pits. His car's on fire by the looks of things. Pim's had a very uneventful race today.
Definitely, except for the moment at the start where I took some damage from the players behind with the safety car and almost everyone getting damage. Really didn't hamper the race too much. Had to do only 2 overtakes, one on Eric, one on MLS, and that was it. Now we're just counting down the laps, 9 more to go. I imagine that this is what Hamilton feels like every weekend. Yeah, to be honest, it's good winning, but I like racing in the middle, I like having good battles. It's fun.
So, Kepro, as we've discussed, he has been inconsistent the last few weeks or so in all the various races that he's attended.
I'd say the last few weeks. He's a really quick driver,
he is really quick.
It's a little prone to make some slight mistakes.
He also tends to put too much pressure on himself.
Do you really think that?
Definitely.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, kept with a standout performance for his team. How is he doing behind Ender? How many seconds?
So Ender's sort of maintaining his 4.5 second lead, although it's just gone down to 4 seconds. I suppose it's because of the hairpin. Kepro does look like he has the legs to potentially catch up and even take Ender with, what, 8 laps left to go.
Who has the most overtake left?
So, diagnostic-wise, Kepro has next to none. GGRC Ender has 4/4. Yeah, Ender's got quarter of a tank of overtake, or quarter of a bar.
It's gonna be tough for Kepro.
Yeah, Raf has barely used any. He's got 3/4.
What has he been doing? I think the issue with Raf is he's quite prone to, I don't know, maybe get a little bit frustrated and then start performing a bit worse, maybe not as thoughtful anymore.
Yeah, Leo K's got half of his overtake left, but I don't think at this stage Leo K, even with a rocket strapped to his car, he wouldn't catch up with anyone.
No, but Raf is a big deal though. If he has 3/4 left, I think he must have completely forgotten about it.
Let's have a look.
It's unfortunate what happened to Raf though, because yeah, he lost a bit of time at the start, but I think he's just been falling back a little bit.
So yeah, Raf has got 3/4 left. I mean, with looking at his stats, his times, he's 4.5 seconds away from Kep in 6th. He's a minute and 13 behind you.
I got Leo K
Oh, that's the point.
visors again.
Kep's dropped back to 6th. Kep, MLS and Patrick are really grouped up now as Patrick's pushed up to 5th. MLS in 4th. Yeah, all 3 of them are less than a second apart.
So they are really battling now.
Yeah, 6, 5 and 4. If we go to 4th place, which is MLS, they've all dropped back to like 11 seconds behind Enderwolf. So now, as we see on board with MLS, he's got Kepro behind him. Kepro's just taken 5th back from Patrick. Patrick looks like he's going to try and go for a manoeuvre, or at least apply enough pressure. Kepro has just taken MLS as Patrick. Both of them have shot ahead. So now Capiro's back in 4th, Patrick in 5th as they approach the straight across the line for start lap 60.
Just past Leo K again. Poor dude.
Leo K's on his Sunday drive, just doing a tour of the scenery.
Next up, who's ahead of me? We got 3 drivers not too far ahead of me.
Right, so you've got a lot of the grid up ahead of you.
Okay.
So oh, looking at the map, someone just span out. What was that on the hairpin? Everything's carrying on as normal, but right. So Pim, looks like you're coming up behind Zen Q. Oh no, there's even. So you've got Nicholas, Jabal, and Leo K. Leo K's the one that's directly ahead of you.
No, Leo K's behind me.
Oh, right, yes. You got Nicholas and Jabal ahead of you. So where's Devil's Hound? He's on a completely different part of the track. Okay. Now back on board with Pim, the loneliest driver in the world. You're so far ahead you could pit just for fun.
Yeah, there we go. Got Nick on my sides now.
Yep. Zenq and Raf in 8th and 7th, pushing up past T1, and they're now approaching the hairpin. So let's go back to the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. Right, MLS has just dropped back a little bit, 2 seconds behind 5th place, which is Patrick. Patrick is...
blue flags for Jabal and Nick.
Patrick is round about a second behind Capero in 4th. They've all dropped back to 12 seconds behind Ender. So if Ender can maintain his consistency, he could stay in 3rd, so that'll be a clean sheet for podium finishes for the Pro Pimpreza movement. So if we go back to Pim, we get on board on the bonnet cam.
Nicholas and Jabal.
Yeah, they're 2 abreast. Yeah, both of them. They're 2 abreast, and they're battling when they don't need to. Okay.
They really need to get out of the way.
Yeah, Pim's
Idiots.
just had contact with Jabal. So we're on board now with Pim as he you're within slipstream distance. Nick's backed off. Oh, bit of shunting there between Jabal.
Retard.
Right, we got a comment in the chat as Pim takes both of them. That was brutal. So now on board with Jabby as he starting to pull back on Pim. Alright. Right. Superior cornering there.
Try and pronounce that name of the one in the comment. Vosker. I imagine he's a Polish guy as well, friend of Zenq. Didn't even know that Zenq is racing here. Yeah, he is. We're just doing a special event race.
Okay, so
now in P7.
yeah, thank you for joining the race. Yeah, Zenq is doing very well in P7. He has been somewhat of a wild card this race because he's only raced with us once before and it resulted in a rage quit, so he never finished the previous race. So yeah, what he has done is quite outstanding, really. He's ahead of Raf, which is quite an achievement because Raf's obviously an incredibly fast competitor.
might take matters into my own hands.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. I should have typed that.
Ah, it's fine.
Alright, yeah. Kepero in 4th. It's like he's 11 and a bit seconds behind GGRC, and MLS is really starting to lose time now. So Kepero is sort of like the standout player for the SRV Raffing Point team.
Raff also not getting out of my way. What's wrong with these guys? Physically having to dive onto the inside to lap them. They are not getting out of my way.
Arakan's doing well to hang on, because like in the last like 10 or so laps, he's still 32 seconds behind you. Like 10 laps ago, he was like 30 seconds. So he's not really losing time anymore, and he's been one of the people that's competed with you for the FL. So I can tell you his last lap was 1 minute 30. So everyone's starting to slow down a bit more now.
Yeah, I'm starting to slow down because I'm having to lap these people mostly. Typing also didn't really help.
Yeah, Ender is he's in 3rd. He's got an 11 second lead over 4th place. He's 30 seconds behind Kepero. Yeah, he's now exactly 1 minute behind you.
No. You might want to type that Pim said that.
So right, let's get back on board with Kepero. Kepero's now he's on his own, 3 seconds ahead, 10 seconds behind. He's kind of got oh no, a bit of fucking snap oversteer there on the hairpin. Didn't affect him too severely. Ah, we are at the final lap. Pim crosses the line for the final lap. So here we go. Yeah, I doubt much can really change now, but aside from the AMs just giving up completely and killing themselves. Yeah, Devil's Hound incredibly lonely there, with 30 seconds and a minute between him and his competitors respectively. Nicolas is now so far ahead. Leo K 4 minutes and 48 seconds off of the lead. Oh, touched the wall there, bit of grazing. Really done well to maximise your tyres and your fuel.
Thank you, thank you. Final sector now.
You might run out just as you cross the line.
No, I got 1.4 laps left.
Oh, right, okay.
Should be looking at the track, not that. Oh, almost made me crash, Carl.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god!
You gave me a penalty, Carl. Exactly 100 minutes of this race to cross the line. There we go.
Ah, congratulations! Pim takes 1st place by a stretch. This has been
100 minutes exactly.
a hell of a marathon.
Yeah, that was a long one.
As
The
Arakan
longest
is,
GGRC race so far.
yeah, Arakan does the final chicane and then moves up to the final right-hand bend. Now pushes down the straight. Oh, he has a very shaky exit to the bend there. He's now pushing towards the line. So we get comments in the chat. Arakan crosses the line for 2nd. Ender now does the left hand and the right hand as he pushes towards the chicane and the final bend to complete the final leg of the lap. It's a grand slam for you, isn't it? Qualified first, win, and fastest lap. Enderwolf crosses the line in third. So that's a clean sheet for the podium of the Pro Pimprazza movement.
Kepler hanging on in fourth.
Kepler, has done an outstanding job of getting to fourth place.
Yeah, well done to him.
Patrick in fifth, has done incredibly well. In sixth, MLS is keeping ZenQ at bay. Yeah, definitely. MLS defending like crazy to cross the line for sixth, and ZenQ in seventh. ZenQ had his running mate Patrick, and then unfortunately eighth downwards. Just a bunch of DNFs. It's Pim that takes the victory.
There we go. Another one on the list.
Yeah, I would like to have a post-race interview. Obviously, there's no point interviewing you because you missed the race. I'd like to hear from Raf and Devil's Hound if possible.
I'll type it now. Doing racing. Doing driver. Go on there with.
So interesting. It was interesting because I was half expecting the way the race started with the connections. Like Arakan's internet was going to crap out, and like the same with MLS and Patrick. They both have a history of poor internet, and for that to not even to come into effect, and the fact that the safety car and race director were the ones to leave was very interesting. Okay, so we have hello, welcome Devil's Hound.
Hello.
Not the result you were looking for, I take it. How did that go for you?
We actually found it really fun. To be honest, we kind of got what we were expecting. We did about 2.5 hours of practice throughout the whole week. We had a lot of fun, to be honest. We felt like we gave them at least a bit of competition in areas, even if it was Pim trying to lap us. But our team had a great amount of fun during it. We joked a lot during the server, and I think overall most of us were actually quite happy. We'd be up for any sort of event with the same teams again, for sure, considering, I think we actually came out happier than you'd expect.
Oh, okay. It was only because there was like a lot of issue at the beginning of the race with Arakan's connection. Before we move on to Arakan, did you guys for the SRV Raffing Point? Did you have any issues with any sort of connectivity issues? Because I know you had MLS on your side. There was a bit of touch and go, like thoughts of whether he may or may not have issues.
We never managed to do any mock race because at some point the host disconnected in every single mock race. So we had no idea what strategy to do. Mark's internet held up, however, in lap 2 I think Raf got pinched into a wall by Arakan's internet that gave him critical damage.
Yeah, we were watching that. God. I think that's what led to the safety car coming out like almost immediately.
No, it was after that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was after the safety car.
It was after the safety car. Raf got completely pinched into the wall and took critical damage.
Yeah, we were
that was. I got really lucky off of that because on my screen I was on the inside of Raf and Raf pushed me into the wall, but I took 0 damage, so I was fine.
Okay, Ender.
I think we demon tracked then.
Yeah, Ender. Congratulations on the P3.
Thanks, man.
You had a lot of battles with just about everyone there. Any highlights or anything you wanna bring up?
Yeah, I did not expect to get P3 in the end. There was a point where I exited. I don't know if you saw it when I exited on my last pit stop, where Raf was right behind me and overtook me. I actually spun and crashed and had to pit to repair damages.
No, we didn't see that. I didn't. No, I think me and Kaz sort of saw it happen on the map, but like it all sort of corrected itself too quickly, so I couldn't get on there to see what had happened.
Yeah, I had to pit again, and then I just had the stint of my life. I pushed so hard and gained 3 positions there again.
Does anyone know what happened in the T1?
No idea. I was very lucky not to get
might have
hit.
broke late.
Yeah, someone
yeah.
broke late and...
We're not
There
really
was
sure.
a massive pilot by me, and even I got hit on the
Quick
inside.
question that people were wondering about in our team is on quite a few of the pits, you guys were making up a lot of time in the stop. Were you going on the actual stop timer or the pit duration?
We were doing the timer on the right, so the,
Yeah,
We were doing
timer on the
time
right.
right.
I
Yeah.
reminded everyone each time. I don't know what ZenQ did, he wasn't in the call.
Yeah, I think it was just a few questions regarding
well,
that.
you might have to watch
Yeah,
the replay then, but I know that
yeah.
most of our drivers...
I am currently uploading
Yep.
the replay.
I reminded every single driver, and Eric surely did it as well.
Yeah,
The Kepler did very well for your team. Very aggressive, as did
performance.
MLS was very good as well. Like very very fast and consistent. They
Yeah.
both displayed good.
But what we had to do is we had to change the strategy completely, because what had happened is where we never completed a full mock race properly, the only one we ever managed to do was one half length on double wear, and in that it seemed like the longer straps were better, so like a 40-26, so 40
Oh,
laps
you
on the
did
mediums.
half the
But-
race and up, that's interesting.
Yeah, but obviously in the full race that didn't work out, so we realised pretty early on and decided to change just a few people's straps to fit more to what you guys were doing when we
Yeah.
went 2020.
We also never got to finish an entire mock race, just me and Eric did one full one alone to figure out the strat, but we were the only ones.
Well, yeah, so in the commentary box, we'd say like standout performances for your team were Kepler and MLS. I mean, everyone did really well. On the Pro Pimprezza movement side, you had Patrick. Neither of them are here, but Patrick and ZenQ were like the ultimate in Polish sandwiching. They just they got at some point they got almost every driver between the pair of them, and
Yeah, they stuck together like glue.
they
I,
were
saw
so
that
good
move
together.
there.
It was a really impressive double team. Yeah, do any of you have anything like any moments with them you'd like to talk about?
I will admit that ZenQ.
I was in comms with Pat. Yeah, go on.
That's fine. I will admit, in practice, ZenQ was a very aggressive driver. So
Yeah.
we thought that could come
He
in
was
really
quick.
handy.
Yeah,
And
we
he was
discussed
quick.
we did discuss in commentary that ZenQ he's only had one other race with us, and that didn't end well for him. So he was a wild card in this race. Yeah, to see him and Pat side by side like throughout almost the whole race, it was really quite fun to watch.
Yeah, well, he was a bit of a wild card when I picked him for the team because no one really knew what he could do, and people on my team were actually getting quite scared of the other team completely clapping us. But I think it was a good choice going with ZenQ.
Yeah.
I think one
Yeah.
thing that also hit us was the strategy, and the fact that most of us went for like a 40-20 or 40-26 was the fact that as a result our setup had to be like that. Originally Kepler was going to do the same one, but he chose his own setup. However, he had about double the tyre wear of every other member, but it meant we were running less aero than we wanted to be, but we had good tyre wear, and yeah.
Okay, as who else would I like to talk to? Raf PG7. Was expecting big things from you. What happened?
Yeah, it's just... My first stint, to be fair, the soft stint was a disaster. That I got involved in that lap 1, turn 1 incident, and I got front wing damage, so I had to repair that. Then I had the incident on lap 2, or right after the safety car peeled in with Arakan, where he lagged out and we were on opposite sides on different screens. So he sandwiched me into the wall on my screen and basically completely damaged the front end of my car. So I had to pit again.
Yeah, I saw that.
I damaged my car yet again on my own accord. Once because I hit the wall quite hard, and then another time when I came up behind Jappy to try and get past him, and I misjudged the braking point and had to take avoiding actions, and that caused me to hit the wall again, getting myself yet again damage. So my
That really
first
sucks.
stint was disastrous.
Oh man.
Yeah, because
My
I
second stint
was
was a lot
talking
better.
to I was talking with Carl, and I actually was expecting you to be up there with the top 3. But
Yeah,
then,
absolutely.
as the
Yeah,
race
we were.
progressed, Kepler and MLS were really the front runners of your team, Capturo being really good in Season 5.
Yeah.
And MLS at the end just failed to keep the tires alive, I think, and he dropped back.
They both got into fights, I think, as well. Kep through, Kep definitely had some issues with, I don't know if it was necessarily tyre wear towards the end, but yeah, he was having issues.
But yeah, Raf and MLS, I was very surprised that you went for the one stop. You're usually the more aggressive drivers with not so good tire wear because you're the qualifying drivers. You get insane lap times. How did you decide? Why did you decide to do a one stop in the end?
Well, by the time it dawned on me that the two-stop might have been the better strategy, I was already too late to get in for my first stint to switch back to softs. It dawned on me on like lap 26 or like 25, but by then I was already committed to the one-stop strategy, and I seriously thought I was going to be able to keep up better pace because really, even with that disastrous first stint with all the crashes and damages and repairs, my pace just wasn't there. On the softs, I was pulling anywhere between 29s and 30s. It was just a disaster.
Did you stay out with damage?
No, I did not stay out with damage. I immediately came in as soon as I got damage. But
were you trying to do a one-stop strategy on soft?
No. I went for softs and then on to mediums.
Yeah.
That's impossible to do, I reckon.
Hey, I did 25 laps on softs, so
yeah,
I did
I
26
didn't
laps on softs.
Almost all of our team did that.
I mean, I did that, and I barely got. I don't think I got any laps past 1 minute 30. So,
guys, let's stop that discussion. Next up, Nicholas. Cameron was lobby host, but what did you think of the race? You have played some of the F1 games, and we actually thought you might have had a good chance against the likes of Leo K, and in the end, I think you destroyed him. So tell us all about it.
I mean, first stint was terrible because I was on the mediums and I think Leo started on the softs, so he just managed to keep within a second of me, so he was constantly attacking me, so I dropped a lot of pace to the people ahead. Something I noticed, Leo was put ahead of me, even though I qualied 2 tenths ahead of him. So I was really confused at the start, but I got him nevertheless. Quick question, did you guys catch my safety car restart?
I'm not sure if we did. Carl?
Yes, I absolutely did. I did. Nick, that was absolutely insane. So...
Mate, I think I got like 8 people.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
So basically what happened was that Arakan started accelerating late, so people kind of went back and forth with the accelerator, and Nick got extremely lucky, and as soon as green went, he was already on the throttle, and he just overtook like 5 cars.
I think Arakan actually went before the green was given, but it was extremely hard to tell as well when I could go, because Arakan was all over the place.
There was a misunderstanding there. It's not Kaz calling the green, it's Kaz reacting to Arakan. Going. Yeah. It's like the F1 system.
Okay. That's why I was confused, because I knew how the restart was going. I was like, Arakan's way too close to the safety car. He's not giving way to the safety car.
Arakan did the beginner. He didn't slow down.
Way too close to the safety car.
Right on the safety car.
I'm like, what's he doing? Is he gonna like hold us up right until the line? I'm like, no. I think he had a misunderstanding, and as soon as the safety car would go in, he'd go. So I actually got on the power really nice and early. So I was able to keep up with him immediately.
I think everyone else was trying to figure out what I was doing. I was thinking, well, I think people behind was trying to get impatient, so I just tried to get it off as quickly as I could.
Well, it wasn't impatience because you were lagging so hard, no one could tell when you were accelerating.
There was that as well.
There was that. Okay, so does anyone have any final questions or comments before we call it a day and stream?
One quick question to Pim.
Start with Jappy.
Start with Jappy. We'll go Jappy. Welcome to the...
still on the safety car restart. Weren't we supposed to wait to overtake until we were past the line? Because I got overtaken before the line.
There is no safety car line, and there was no such thing in the rules. So
wasn't it the start-finish straight line?
No.
Shabby, the important question is, did you get overtaken before or after the green call?
After the green call.
Then it's fine. Green flag is green flag. So yeah.
Incredibles, man.
Okay, next up.
Okay, and yeah, who was it had a question?
Nicholas, go ahead.
At the end of the race, as you were coming up to lap both Jappy and myself.
Yeah.
It was a hairpin going to the right. Why did you turn left?
To hit Jappy because he wasn't getting out of my way.
Okay, so
you were kind of going side by side, so.
Well, no, listen. You guys got blue flags. I'm the race leader. You two are supposed to get out of the way. But what really happened was I pushed Jappy out of the exit of the previous corner because it wasn't getting out of the fucking way. And then what he does is he stays on the racing line, and I have to dive up the inside to make the overtake. I should have put him right in the wall right there and then.
And on that bombshell, we'd just like to say thank you for joining us for the GGRC Super Formula TVT. It was
Thank you, everyone.
It was an outstanding victory for the Pro Pimpactor movement, and Pim himself doing all of the jobs. We'll all be unemployed.
This was my first time as commentator, so I hope it was okay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Thank you all for joining us. Yeah, thank you for ending 2020 with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year and with new events on the horizon. So stay tuned to Instagram and Reddit and our YouTube channel, GGRC. You'll find it. And yeah, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.